And welcome to the Roger Hedgecock Show here at the Aramco Group studio at UTTV. Well, he's just 29 years old, but James O'Keefe, welcome to the program. I say that only because you have had a lifetime of experience already, including being arrested by the feds. We'll get to that in a minute. But this idea that you have done so many pioneering things with journalism. Older folks will remember the old show Candid Camera, where somebody does something weird, they don't realize the camera is on them. People have been doing something weird for you on your hidden cameras for a long time now. In fact, I wanted to get right to the ACORN issue. ACORN was a ground troops, shock troops for the left in a number of elections leading up to Barack Obama's victory in 2008, and organized throughout the United States for voter registration of questionable people and all kinds of other shenanigans. Well, you went in to prove that they were even more than that, didn't you?
Yeah, we posed as a pimp and prostitute and went around to ACORN offices here in California.
You were the pimp.
I was the pimp.
You had this crazy raccoon coat.
It was my grandmother's fur coat, and I put my grandmother's coat on and posed as a pimp, and they were giving me advice. Here in San Diego, there was one employee, Juan Carlos Vera, who was telling me how to get these underage prostitutes across the Tijuana border. And ultimately, ACORN sued me. They sued me on expectation of privacy. They said I couldn't have filmed Vera without violating California's two-party consent law. So this book, Breakthrough, I just came out with, talks about being deposed, being sued by ACORN, but ultimately ACORN was shut down. Congress voted to defund ACORN, and President Obama signed the bill to defund ACORN after these videos.
And here's a little bit of that video with Vera we're looking at right now, and a very interesting set of circumstances. Let's listen to this a little bit.
Is it better if it's Tijuana? Is it better if it's somewhere inland? Where is the best place? I'm not quite. He's like all these answers he wants right away.
It's better in Tijuana.
Tijuana?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I have a lot of contacts in Tijuana.
Okay, and they might be able to assist crossing the border?
Yeah.
Okay. There's like 12 of them. Is that okay?
12?
12.
12 girls.
There's
But
12
they're young,
girls.
they're young.
But there's like 13 to 15 years old. Yeah.
Give me the drums.
Project Veritas, of course, is yours, and that your cohort there was
Hannah Giles.
Hannah Giles,
Right.
who's playing the role of the prostitute.
That's right.
Here's you two, unbelievable. He actually bought this story, didn't he? Now,
Yes.
why were you there? What kind of advice were you seeking from ACORN?
I had reason to believe that ACORN was doing all types of potentially illegal activities when I went on YouTube, and they were breaking and entering into people's homes. So I was trying to determine if they'd be willing to help a illicit pair of individuals do criminal things like start brothels, get taxpayer advice on how to do that. And this is what we do at Project Veritas. We go into government-funded entities like ACORN and entitlement programs, HUD, Medicaid, and we expose a willingness to break the law, to break the rules, to do unethical things.
James O'Keefe, and a book is called Breakthrough. It's already, what was it out, just a week or so?
A couple weeks, yeah.
A couple of weeks, and here we are at New York Times bestseller list already.
It was number 2 on Amazon worldwide last week, so.
That's a great, you're going to need this for the legal bills and everything, right?
Exactly.
James O'Keefe, because the left isn't going to take this, lying down in terms of the ability you have to reveal their hypocrisy. Let's talk about another example. This Muslim Brotherhood deal you did for NPR,
National
PBS?
Public Radio.
Yeah, NPR.
Right.
So here's NPR, and you got the executive. Tell the story.
So we posed as members of the Muslim Brotherhood, the fundamentalist Muslim Brotherhood, and we said we wanted to make a $5 million donation to National Public Radio. We used hidden cameras and met with their senior vice president for fundraising, Ron Schiller, and then their CEO, Vivian Schiller. We called her.
They're not related either.
They're not related, just
Yeah.
a coincidence. These are the senior leadership team at National Public Radio. They were caught on tape ingratiating themselves to our fictitious Muslims, disparaging Jews, and calling the Tea Party racist. And after these videos came out, the CEO of NPR resigned, and there was a House vote in Congress to defund NPR because of these videos.
Yeah, the Senate saved them, but
Senate saved
we've
them.
got to get back to that issue. Let's watch a little bit of this and tell me what we're seeing here.
Sure.
On the MIAC website, it said the organization
This is a website we
sought to,
created, a
spread
fake
the
website
acceptance
that
of
we
Sharia
used
across the
to
world.
get the meeting with National Public Radio. This is a sit-down meeting at Cafe Milano in Washington, D.C.
Pretty fancy place.
Pretty fancy place.
Yes.
It cost me some money to get that meeting. But this is Ron Schiller on tape. He does not know that he's being videotaped. disparaging the Tea Party and talking about the fact that he would be willing to accept that $5 million grant from the Muslim Brotherhood and keep it anonymous from the IRS.
So, I mean, these are astonishing examples of what these people actually talk like when they're in private versus
right.
what we hear in public.
You know, I was on the Rush Limbaugh show recently, and the way Rush put it is he said, we bring out who they really are because they hide who they are. We call it Veritas, Latin for truth, cinema verite.
Yes.
We expose the reality of things by bringing out the absurdity of our subjects.
You know, it's interesting because you have now done this now for a number of years. What, did you start this 4 or 5 years ago?
That's right.
So, you're trying to get other people to do this as well, right? I mean, you're not just, you're a Johnny Appleseed as well as...
I'm a little bit recognizable, so we actually have a nonprofit charity, ProjectVeritas.com, where we train people to do this, and we've done about 65 investigations over the last few years into, like I said, Medicaid, Social Security. We've done into the Second Amendment issue. We've done videos on Obama phones most recently. They got workers fired. And it's always not me. It's another person I've trained and recruited and taught how to do this.
Breakthrough is the book, ladies and gentlemen, but let's do one more because the hypocrisy on homelessness knows no bounds. You actually got an assemblyman of the California State Assembly pretty much in a box.
That's right. There was a bill here in California called the Homeless Bill of Rights, where homeless people could establish something like a domicile on a sidewalk. You could live on the sidewalk. So
they had the right to live on the sidewalk.
They had the right to live on the sidewalk. And even earlier versions of this bill, you could defecate on the sidewalk. So we decided to put it to the test by going to the home of the assemblyman, posing as a homeless person. This is Roger Dickinson of the California Assembly, who apparently called the local security on us, the local police there in his neighborhood, for being homeless on his sidewalk.
In other words, it's okay to be homeless on the sidewalk, but not on my sidewalk.
Not on his sidewalk. Do as we say, not as we do. This is a common theme at Project Veritas, exposing hypocrisy amongst legislators.
Some of these things are, you laugh out loud when you hear them, but then you have to stop and say, wait a minute. You've just given us a peek of how these people live their lives, which is to say to the public all these things they're in favor of, like our mayor, Bob Filner, is talking about how he's a champion of women's rights. It turns out he's a serial groper, and all these women were keeping it to themselves because he was so good on progressive issues, but he wasn't good on actually doing it.
That's right, and we did another video similar to this one where we went to the homes of journalists and politicians who were anti-gun, and they were for gun-free zones, so we asked them to put a sign on their lawn announcing their homes to be proudly gun-free. Gun-free zones. Of course, no one would ever put that sign on their lawn. That's outrageous. But that's how we expose hypocrisy, by putting people in that situation.
Yeah, we're still running this one. Just talk about this one again. Who did you get to play the homeless person there?
This is my colleague Christian Hartsock, who I might add was just recently beat up at a Trayvon Martin protest.
Wow.
He goes into these, he's filming right now, and we're standing on the sidewalk outside Assemblyman Dickinson's house. We stood there for 45 minutes without incident. But when Dickinson left his house in his BMW, 45 seconds later, this police officer showed up. So clearly, Mr. Dickinson appeared to, he lied about it. He told the local Fox affiliate in Sacramento, oh, that wasn't me calling the police. So they got caught in the lie, he lied about it. And this is, I think, what we need to do. We really need to expose the hypocrisy of our elected officials. They don't hold themselves to the same principles that they want you, the citizen, to be held to.
Boy, no question about that. All right, James O'Keefe. Let's show the information where people can get involved in Project Veritas, because this is important, and to get the book. Here's the book, Breakthrough, and the subtitle is Our Guerrilla War to Expose Fraud and Save Democracy, James O'Keefe. And you can get that copy, get that, of course, everywhere, Amazon.com, etc. The book tour you're on, obviously, now, because you live where? New York now, huh?
I live in Westchester, New York, and right here, we're going to Ramona today for a Tea Party event. We're going to tomorrow to Los Angeles to the Hancock Tea Party group. We're traveling around the country doing these events.
All right, so people who want to get Project Veritas, let's put that information up. Project Veritas, where? Okay, we're going to get it, I hope. Give the web address.
Project Veritas, Veritas.com. We're a registered charity organization. The IRS bureaucrat must have been asleep at the wheel today.
You didn't get the big
I guess Veritas, he didn't know what that meant. But anyways, we run off small donations, so we could use your help.
James O'Keefe, thanks so much for coming in. I appreciate it.